Oh, no bueno.
Really?
Yeah, it was a little
Straight
crazy.
up no bueno. Oh, I might do one on Halloween.
On Halloween?
Yeah, on Halloween. From Halloween into November 1st.
The reason why I thought you would say Halloween is because, or the candy or whatever that you'd probably ate that day, and then you was like, oh, I'm out of here.
No, I just eat it after.
Yeah, I hear that too. Are we live?
Yeah,
Instagram?
no.
Live?
No, it didn't click yet. Oh, now we're going. Now we're live on.
There we go.
Yeah, we're live on IG.
There we go. Okay. Yo, I spent like the last 4 hours looking for a picture that I could not find.
A picture? Oh, you like a certain picture?
Yeah, can't find it. Came across mad triggering shit. I don't want to say it was triggering. I think triggering is the wrong word.
That's what happened to me. One of my friends hit me. I was like, "You have a picture of me from like 10 years ago?" I'm like, I guess.
Possibly.
I should. Maybe. If you were letting me take pictures back then. It's always the people who's like, I don't like pictures. To be like, oh.
Right.
But they know who got them.
I have a picture of. No, I have 10 years ago. I was like in love madly, so I have mad pictures, like relationship pictures from then.
Mm-hmm.
Mad relationship, but the thing that killed me wasn't even that. The thing that killed me was that some of the pictures that I found were of some of the pictures I found were like of text messages of like our breakup.
Oh, screenshots?
Yeah. That was
triggering.
Yeah. And it would be like oh, I hate you, you ain't shit, nigga. It'd be like, I love you and I don't really want to be with anybody else. And me responding, you kind of made your mind up when you did the dumb shit. Like, you know what I mean?
That's hard though, but that's not lying.
It's not a lie.
That's not lying.
Not a lie, but it still hurt. Still don't feel good to have to see that type of interaction with somebody who you love so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely a thing. Let me start sharing this video. I thought I was doing that. Here we go.
So you thought.
So I thought, and I thought wrong. Absolutely did.
This shit is so stupid. I wonder.
Somebody, hold on, y'all.
No. Why is my computer being dumb? No. Close that shit. This. Trustee funds. What's up? Do you like the title of this live? I'm not particularly fond of it.
Well, this was on the list for a while. I figured that because the election was coming up and we have a female president coming up, that why not bring it up?
Oh, okay, because when Trustee Fund said he liked the title of this live, I was just gonna definitely throw you under the bus with that one.
Of course you would.
Because what do you mean dealing with?
I said dealing with?
Yes.
I thought I said dating.
No, that's not what it says. It says dealing with.
Oh, well, shit. I wrote dating here because that's what I thought.
This mother. So my wife got the wrong.
My bad.
Dealing with is what's in the dated one, the list.
Got you. Oh, well, we got to find
Do
out how
you see what a simple mistake could be? So it's dating.
Oh,
that's crazy.
I found out how to deal with these hoes.
Dealing. I don't know.
Oh, man. That is what? Boom, 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 boom.
I don't know.
I'm gonna put dating when I share it. Oh, who am I sharing it with? So a while now.
Ew, what?
This one person on here I be trying to get, but she be so down in the crawls. I
Shoot, I
do.
can't even share from my computer. How y'all been though? How's this last week of October treating y'all?
Said dating an alpha woman in the thing.
That's completely different from what you wrote in
Totally different. Totally different. I'm not going It's way different.
That's hilarious.
That's crazy. I didn't even realize that.
Correction, you guys.
Nah,
That's
don't like that. We dealing with these joints. We got to deal with them. You feel me?
I
Um.
guess.
so yo, you ever heard of Yandex? My nigga?
You said how that date? I'm changing the name of this.
Can you? What you can do it
I'm
while you
gonna
on?
find out.
I didn't know you could.
You said date an alpha woman?
That's what I sent to people. Yeah.
Okay. I don't understand why it's so hard.
Oh! You really want to go there? We can go there. I'm with it. Hard headed asshole. Let me stop. Um.
Yo.
Nah. So I'll introduce it like this, right? Um. So a while ago, you know, this guy came up with this term like alpha wolf, and he said, "Oh, there's an alpha wolf or whatever," and that's the wolf that leads the pack because that's what he saw from like one wolf pack, not understanding that that wolf pack was actually domesticated. With that being
Yes, sir.
said, well, it was formally domesticated, and he's seen it. So when he looked at actual wild wolf packs, he realized that there were no official leader of a wolf pack. Usually,
Yes.
there's like a dominant one that's usually bigger, but then some of the smaller ones get say so as well because they actually live in a equal society, believe it or not, right? Wolves do. Their packs are equal.
Mm-hmm.
And they protect the young and the sick. Like they may not be as physically imposing as bears or mountain lions, but they how they operate socially gives them a big edge, right? And which is why wolves are like and wild dogs are like all over the world. Long story short, um, he recanted the statement of there being an alpha male, alpha woman. So there's no such thing. There's
Yes.
there's no such thing as that. So now, when I hear a woman being an alpha or blah 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 blah, I'm a boss bitch or whatever the case may be, I kind of look at that with filtered lenses, and I always say like, you're not, because if you have to say it, then you aren't it, right? That's kind of something I have to go by. I go by. Have you ever heard a grown man say, "I'm a grown ass man"? You
No.
know what I'm saying? Right. Because grown men don't have to defend themselves to be grown. Now, I have said that a few times because I had an aunt or somebody talk to me kind of like an elder talk to me crazy. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Overly familiar.
yeah, like, hold on. You must forgot. I'm pushing 40, bitch. You can't talk to me crazy. Like, what's wrong? You out of your mind. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, that shit is crazy. Like, y'all, you talking to me like I'm 17 still. You out of your mind. So, outside of that, I don't really see the importance of being like, yo, nah, this is what it is. So most of my journey, I noticed that the women that I have dated that are like alpha or like blah blah blah, they are more competitive women than they are complimentary. And I say that to this degree that a lot of women that I dated that are like that by circumstance, not by design. And a lot of that circumstance is because they are in toxic environments where like men get overrepresented, men get an unfair shot, so they have to kind of become like a toxic version of what success may look like to men. Um, think of Gordon Gecko or what people from Mad Men or something like that. That's a perfect example. As a matter of fact, some of the women on Mad Men that show, but a lot of them, will act in a certain way, and when they act in that certain way, it's usually non-reflective of what a woman, at least what I deem like strong femininity to be. And with that being said, strong femininity, that word just I noticed that a lot of women who claim to be leaders um, try to do so in a way that mimics men, as opposed to being that strong feminine force that's also a leader, um, but can still be demanding, that can still be ambitious, can still be goal oriented, and all of these other things. But it doesn't have to mimic, somebody on Wall Street. I always tell this story about this woman I dated. Now it's been over a decade, and she was a lawyer, and she had just became a lawyer or whatever. And her and I, we dated or whatever. And I felt like after, whatever happened, you know what I mean? She started acting weird with me. And I was like, I was like, I felt like I was like, we got into like a big debate once, and she was just like talking about her being a lawyer or whatever. And I asked her if she was like, a litigator, or like what kind of lawyer she was. Like she was getting into detail. Like I knew some of what she did, but you know how but you be outside, so you got to get a reminder. Oh, all right, you did say that. It was one of those. And I was like, yo, when I was a kid, like all the teachers used to say I should be a lawyer because and then she went into this whole tirade about how lawyers don't always litigate. And I was like, what the hell does that have to do with what I'm saying? Like I was just telling you a story from childhood to kind of like get, make some type of, connection or whatever. And she like went on this whole thing. And I felt like from that point on, every conversation was like a debate. And she was trying to compete or outdo me. And I was just like, I never wanted to be a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure if I wanted to be, I could be. I don't think so. Oh, all right. I know what
Now
this is.
that's insulting.
OD.
Because what do you mean I couldn't have?
Right, I can't do what you can do. And I told her, like, there's just nothing on earth that you can do that I can't do except have a baby. You must be bugging. And, gay shit. So I'm just like, yo, at the end of the day, like, I can't, like, that was annoying to me. And I feel like there's a lot of women that are like that because in the legal field, like, they treat women differently from men. In the medical field, they treat women differently than they do for men. Like it's just a thing in certain fields. And I feel like some women feel like they have to compete with that from at work to when they come home, and it's like you don't. You really, really don't. So I say all that to say, I don't think that you have to deal with a woman that's a leader. You're either attracted to that or you're not. Um, should I know some women in relationships right now, who are more masculine than they men? And if that works for them, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So I don't think that's something you have to deal with. I think it's something you have to be compatible with. I think the problem is that a lot of women who are leaders, I'm going to make it two categories. There are women who are leaders who are tired of leading. They're just tired. They tired, but they don't want to listen. There are women who are leaders who know when to step aside and let someone else lead because the best leaders can also follow. So there's two types of women like that. There's women who've been doing it and like, oh, he know better. What you got to say with this? And when he can't do, she's not. Remember that episode we did where men being vulnerable. When he can't do, she doesn't get nervous, upset. She doesn't get wary of the situation. She steps up because that's in her bones. And there's some women who just had to lead their whole life and they don't want to do it no more. And then once the guy say to do something that's a little uncomfortable for them, they're like, nah, I'm good. I'm not listening to this nigga.
Oh, no, I'm good.
I've seen it happen.
Um,
I've seen that.
I think I can understand the problem with code switching and transitioning between work and home. Um, and I also think there's a difference between leading men and leading women,
What do you mean?
like depending on where you're leading and who you're leading. Like to almost like to lead, you need respect. and to get respect of men, you have to play like men.
I think to get respect of narrow-minded men, like men who don't have a full field of view.
I just think that I don't think that's the case in the workspace because
Because a lot of the men,
because the people you're leading are actually sometimes your competitors.
oftentimes,
Yes, they would take your spot or
RB,
be your boss if they could.
right?
So leading people who you're inherently in competition with is why women have to put on can't lead from a feminine space in a workplace.
But I was going to say, to interject really quick, I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that in our society, not always the best, well-rounded people are the ones that are promoted and incentivized.
They aren't.
So that's why we get, if you incentivize the toxic behavior and that's what's getting rewarded, then the woman has to adapt and do that in order to be rewarded, then that's what she's going to reflect.
Yes. I hope you weren't calling toxic behavior inherently male.
No, I said what gets promoted in the workspace is that toxic behavior that men often do. And I
Gotcha.
feel like those men are more narrow-minded and short-sighted, so they can't see, oh, she's bringing us together. That's leadership. Oh, she quelled this little dispute. That's leadership. Oh, she's the one who, did the bake sale. I'm not looking at it as a domestic role. I'm looking at it like, oh, that's another form of leadership. You know what I mean? Because I'm a more well-rounded person. So I'm not thinking about the competitive. The last job that I had, the last real job that I had, both of my bosses were women, and before that, I had another position for shorter. I think I worked the other position for a year and a half, almost 2 years, and then I worked the other position for about 4 years. And in that time, I had a guy, a supervisor, and a director in the initial position, and they were good. They weren't bad leaders. You know who were the better leaders for me? The women, the two women, two white women, were my bosses, and I couldn't admire them more for how well they knew the job, how well they knew things surrounding their job, how they handle conflict, how they handle my stupid ass. Like they did things in such a way that everything they did was mature. And it was like, this is leadership. And to this day, if I don't work for somebody who's like them, and they don't have to be one for one, but they have to have those qualities of leadership. My best example of that are two white women. I don't know how anybody feels about the race of it, but this is what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Trusty Fun says this is why I said it's a serious topic. Well, he gave me the wrong topic, so so that's why I was like,
But that's a he, right? That's a he. Yeah,
yeah.
he understood.
I also have no experience in corporate America, so there's that too.
Mm. I want to say you ain't missing nothing,
I'm
but I
not.
feel like, nah. There's a level of, and I don't want to digress too much, but there's a level of life experience that you get from corporate, the same way you get from working at a clothing store or a fast food joint. And I've done all three, right? I feel like I've worked at fast food, I've worked in retail, and I worked in the corporate space. I feel like all of those jobs give you a level of life experience that is almost like how you were parented. And then when you get in a certain position to be a parent, you're like, I'm not doing that shit. You may have your own fucked up shit you're going to do, but you're not going to repeat the other shit. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. So there is some value to it. I'm not going to lie.
Uh,
There is some value to it.
Sagius, I have to give that some thought. Is there something that a man can't do that a woman can other than having a baby? That's a deep question.
Things that
You said it.
well, I said that because I was being competitive. My ego was being attacked at that moment.
You gotta preface it with that so we can all be like, okay, simmer down, simmer down.
I mean, I was 20 something years old. Give me a break. So I, other than biologically, I don't think there's anything that a man can do that a woman cannot. I don't think there's anything that a woman can do that a man cannot. Other than biologically speaking, we're talking about physically. That's all I'm talking about. Like a woman's not gonna dunk as hard or lift. Listen, this is a woman that's just as strong as I am. There's some, but she'll never be. Oh, the strongest woman in the world will never be as strong as the strongest man. The fastest woman will never be as fast as the fastest man. She can't get somebody else pregnant. Yada yada blah blah blah. I feel the other 90% or 85% of what it is to be a person. I don't think that a man can't do it, but a woman can do it. And I don't think a woman can't do it. However, I believe innately a full woman can do things that a man can do, but better, and vice versa. I feel like it's all interchangeable. Like it's all like a Venn diagram, and it overlaps a lot. But what's weighted heavier on a woman's healing ability, nurturing ability, ability to have insight and a certain type of intuition. Not that bullshit intuition we talk about when they're in relationships. I'm talking about real intuition. Like my kids are sick. Like her ability to change the density of her breast milk if the kids are sick. You know what I'm saying? The anticipatory actions of her family based on her instinct. A man can do that, absolutely for sure. I don't think a woman's best is ever going to come close to a man's best, and that his best is going to be so far behind. But that I just feel like a man can't do it, and some men can do it just as good as women. I just think women do those things better. I also feel the same way about men, and like my wherewithal is typically better than women. I'm most able to see things that women can't because I'm more looking outward while she's making sure things are good here. Um, I feel like men being able to compartmentalize and take away certain emotions from things is a benefit because sometimes we ain't got time to care about feelings, bitch. We got to get out. We got to go. Leave that nigga behind. He turns to a zombie. Why we care about Craig? Let's go. And I feel like but I also feel like that's what makes us yoked. You know what I mean? Is that these things that women can do, men can also do them, but women do them better. A lion, a male lion, can raise his cubs. The lioness is going to do a better job, right? The male lion can hunt. The lioness is going to do a better job. The lioness can kill this buffalo. The male lion is going to do a better job. The lionesses can protect their pride. The male lion is going to do a better job. So it works. And I think you in a lot of any type of social class of species on this planet, everything fits like a puzzle. And I think that it's no different from human beings.
Just for clarification, what does an alpha woman look like to you?
An alpha woman look like to me?
Yeah.
All right, so that's actually the next topic. If you hadn't looked at it already. The reason why I'm taking so long to answer is because I live in the duality. I believe in alphas, but I also don't think they exist, which sounds crazy, oxymoronic, but I promise you it's not. I believe there are natural leaders on earth. There are some people who can just take charge. I found myself to be that person in very, very tense situations, and I make very good decisions under duress. Like the world slows down when shit like that happens. I don't get really nervous. After the shit is done, listen,
Shambles.
I'm shambles, bro, crying, all types of shit. Like, oh, I can't believe we made it out of that. In the situation, I'm as cool as a cucumber, bro. Like, I don't fold. I don't fold. After that shit, man, you know how many times I laughed and cried? checking yourself for bullets, my nigga. Like, oh, we good. You crying, but you laughing at the same time.
He's
It's crazy.
shaking.
Shaking like motherfucker, shaking. Oh, how we got out of that? But I realized in certain conflicts where certain men or even women for that matter would kind of take things to the step, I kind of shut that shit down. Like, nah, like we're not doing that, or you got to meet a certain standard or whatever. And I noticed at that last place, that's some of the reason why I was going to talk to you beforehand, but I didn't realize the time. But that place that I was going to that was paying me money to do stuff, they I have been so like such a reserved version of myself that on Monday when we had like the apex, the crescendo of like the little contract dispute, they tried to kick me out.
Oh,
My
I
energy
know
was
that
bad.
didn't go over well.
No, I told them no. Like it's not happening. How y'all string me along for 2 weeks and then tell me you got to go because I'm making it negative? I'm not making it negative. You guys don't want me to talk about what y'all doing. Buffoonery. No, open your books and let me see what the hell you're talking about. Like I need to see stuff. Now that the alpha came out, the leader came out, the stern, I need this information. I'm not really playing with you. I'm not trying to really put you under pressure. Like we in the street, but corporate speak kinda. Nah, I need this, and there's not an option. It's not about how you're gonna give it to me or when or if it's about the win. And that win is getting tighter because now I'm gonna start to get a little bit more antsy, and I started to act a little bit different. And then they didn't see that side of me. And they even told me, "Well, you can just get your stuff and go." I said, "I'm gonna leave my stuff right here and come back." That's what's happening. So I feel like a leader is a person that not stubbornly, because there's a fine line between being stubborn and being persistent, right? And I feel like that person who can be persistent, um, I feel like that's just a person, not even a man or woman. The people who can take charge, take lead when things are all chaos for everyone. The person who rises above the rest with a voice that is about leadership, not delegation. Yeah, somebody can always tell you what to do, but is that person leading by example? Is that person integrity? And to me, integrity is defined by the things you do when nobody's looking, right? Is that person living true to that? Is that person trustworthy? Is that person believable? Because I know a lot of people who got a loud voice, and I typically am not the first one with the loud voice, and I hear that loud voice, and I'm like, come on, we're going this way. But wow, he just said, he full of shit. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? And I noticed that around, all right, so I don't believe in the alpha because of all the things that I just mentioned. Anybody could have those attributes. You may have to teach it to them. Some just have it from birth. You can see it in little kids, right? The reason why I do believe in the alpha is just because I said it. I see it in little kids. You ever been in a room and this one person stands above the rest as soon as he walks in the room, or as soon as she walks in the room? Or how people kind of, so the guy who told me like, yo man, people got, these negative vibes or whatever. I'm trying to say this in a nice way. He gives off insecure energy every time I was around him. And the reason why I say that is because every time he told the story, or we had like a conversation with 4 or 5 of us, always talked about the things that he's done, what he did, what he doing, how he doing it, as to kind of show people, well, I'm good at this. I can do these things. So one time he said something, matter of fact, the last time I worked there full day, he said something about him doing deadlift, and I had just did deadlift because my back was hurting. And I said, oh, word? How often do you? He said, I be deadlifting every now and again. I said, how much you deadlift? And he was like, I don't want to. And I was just like, oh, I hit 4 something the other day. It was the first time I did it in a while. My back hurt. So what you lifting? Like, tell me, how many sets? He didn't want to say it. Because around the people who are like, he views that are below him, he speaks with this bodacious attitude. Whenever I come around and he tries to use that same energy towards me, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm not impressed. Anything that you've ever, and he didn't even know that we were the same age. So I'm like, anything that you've ever done, to some degree, I have a similar amount of success at it. And I'm not here to like put a lot on the measuring stick to see who's is bigger. But I feel like whenever I was around, he kind of he eventually put his tail between his legs and was like, all right, I may not be the biggest nigga here, but I'm gonna be here. I can do that to them, but I can't do it to him. And I feel like there are people in the world that are like that. Like just naturally. Like I'm not taking no shit. Like when Michael, every basketball player, I'm not talking about any basketball player ever, right? I have friends that play in the NBA. I'm talking about like the top 75 players of all time. They all universally said when Michael Jordan walked in the room, everybody stopped and looked at that nigga. These are the top 75 basketball players ever from 1950 something to now. When he walked into the room, they said, oh, it's him. Some of it, yes, is because of his accomplishments. Some of it is just because he's him. And I feel like that's when I actually believe that power exists. There are some women who just got it. When they walk into a room, like I know some kind of famous joints, when they get around people, they get small. I know some people who, when they just themselves, they're bigger than any expectation you could like. Their reputation is always gonna precede them, and then when you meet them, they always exceed the expectation. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That to me is where the alpha is, and I believe when you have that innate ability to be that person, leadership comes naturally. Taking charge comes naturally. Being disciplined comes naturally. Being able to regulate yourself and having a value system that can't be tainted with have a good integrity. I think all that stuff comes naturally when you are that person. So I know I give a broad answer, but it's because I live in two different spaces. I feel like anybody can do that shit, but at the same time, there are some people who just gifted with it naturally, and some women got, some women don't. But a lot of women, they just walk into a room like I'm her, and love everybody. Don't treat anybody like if alphas don't treat people less than themselves.
I think that's a good point to mention. That she shouldn't be
Belittling. That's the word I was
breaking
looking for.
down. Hmm?
I said the word I was looking for was belittling. Be belittling.
Yeah, it shouldn't. Her status shouldn't rely on the status of the people around her.
Right. She's just her,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it what it is. So I got a question for
Um,
you.
hmm?
I got a question for you. Can the strong woman, aka an alpha woman, can she be submissive to a man?
Yeah, I think so.
How?
I think she could be submissive to a man because she's not competing with him. She shouldn't be competing with him in a relationship. So submitting to him doesn't take anything away from her and what she does.
What do you say to the women who can't submit?
Uh, if you can't submit and you want to submit, heal your fears. Because I think that's usually what it is about.
Fears, you
Either
said?
you don't, huh?
You said fears? Okay.
Check your fears, see if they're valid or not. If you
Mm,
find your fears valid, that means you don't trust him.
mm.
If you don't trust him, you have to figure out why you don't trust him. What are you afraid of? Do you not trust him? And then also, I think submission to some degree or another, not to get religious, but I think if you trust in something greater than yourself and something greater than him, then you can rely on that as well. And if y'all both trust in the same thing, even better. Um, but like, what are you afraid of? And I think that's what all lack is. What if you can't trust him to lead? Why can't you trust him to lead? And sometimes it's as simple as you've been hurt before, that you've
Or
been let down before.
let down. There you go.
You have found it hard
Or
to rely on people or count on people.
or she's been put in those positions like some girls in impoverished communities where they like gotta like their mom gotta work and they gotta take care of the kids and da 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 da, and it's hard for them to let go of that role.
Yeah. Also, she might have never seen a man do it.
That part.
So how do I trust something I've never seen before? I
That
don't I don't know how to operate in these conditions.
right. Oh, can we speak on that real quick?
Yes, we can.
So I watched this video once, and don't worry, guys. Next week I have everything more set up so we can do this shit. It's a rough week. This is a rough week. Your boy was wild. I didn't come down off anxiety highs until like yesterday. Anyway, um, and in the video they were like, a lot of women can't submit because they don't know what like a strong, healthy man looks like, and they look at a man that's trying to say, "Hey, maybe this is the right thing for you," as opposed to that, as somebody delegating to her, and because she may have been delegated in like certain ways as a child or growing up, that she kind of bucks against it, like nah 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 nah, and thus it would always be hard for her to be with a strong man because, and again, strength. I'm not in no negative sense, right? And she won't ever be able to accept that because she doesn't know what the love of a strong man looks like. For instance, as an example, I use like with my daughters. It took a while for my oldest daughter to get it because she went through a lot of phases with me. Like we grew up together, kind of. But the other two girls, they, and even still my oldest for sure, they run to me for things. They seek my advice. They want me to protect them. They want me to because they know what they know. I'm always going to give them the real, the right, and be consistent with that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm wrong, I admit it. And if I did something to them that was not good, I always apologize. Matter of fact, my daughter said that to me a couple of weeks ago. She said, "Daddy, the reason why I like having these conversations with you, because if I tell you that this I didn't like this thing, you change your behavior, and I can see it, even if you didn't apologize right away." She said, "So when I have these conversations with you, I know that they're going somewhere." This is what she said out of her mouth. This is my 13-year-old, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, I also looked at that when they get older, they're going to know what it is to have a man who's willing to lead in a healthy way, not delegate, not strong arm you. Like, all right, let's talk about this. How do you feel? How do we get to the next thing? All right, I'm kind of leaving this on you. You got to figure this part out. Or I'm not allowing you to do this because I'm the person who could do this, and I'm going to do it, and you're going to watch me so you can learn. But I don't. You don't have to do this on your own. And if you never had that, and the guy, like I'm, from any male figure, it could have been your grandfather, your uncle, whatever. I think it makes for a difficult circumstance for a woman to be able to accept that kind of love. Because sometimes the best form of love is accountability.
Man, if this doesn't tie into something else I wanted to talk about, because you just mentioned to it, I wanted to have a whole conversation, and I don't want to steer the conversation away.
We could digress. We could digress a little
I
bit.
digress a little bit. So I kind of wanted to have a conversation about accountability, apologies, and making amends. Because apologies on their own aren't accountability, and amends, if misunderstood, won't be received right. You know what I mean? Like you could try to make amends with somebody, but if you don't communicate well, it might not be taken right. So
Or
you might
communicate at all.
remember, huh?
I said or communicate at all.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you might remember I was waiting around to see if I was going to get an apology from something over a year ago, and I got a text message apologizing.
From Philly? Philly?
Mhm. Apologizing,
In
and
detail?
huh?
In detail?
Uh, not that much detail.
Okay. It wasn't like I'm sorry for blah 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 blah. It was just like I'm sorry I fucked up.
It was like I fucked up. There was no excuse. Um, you're a good friend. I miss you, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
And I give myself a pat on the back though. I
it
told you.
didn't hit. It didn't hit like I thought it was gonna hit.
I predicted all of that.
It didn't hit how I thought it was gonna hit.
I told you, I said he's going to apologize, and I said it's going to take a while. He's going to see it. He's going to apologize, and you're not going to care. When you were hot and you were going through it, I told you that was going to happen. I know niggas. I used to be one. Like I don't know what I'm sorry. I know niggas. I know niggas. I used to be one. Front Street, and dude was like, "Yo, I've been that guy. Like, apology for what? Nigga, I made it wrong." And then sometimes,
So that's what I was like. Why it ain't hit right? Right. So I'm sitting here sitting on it, and I'm looking, and I'm like, it took a year for this. That's one thing. I spoke, and then the other thing was maybe if we had a real fight, if we had a real fight, a real falling out, I can understand why it might take that long to coming back and reconcile. You know, you gotta go off and battle your demons, your ego, or
Kanye,
whatever.
didn't he still have to do that considering what he did?
I don't know what he had to do while he was gone for so
No,
long.
but you understand what I'm saying? So like I feel like what he did was equivalent to a fight. Although it
Maybe
wasn't the big
okay,
dust up.
so a fight in that we both had parts in it. A fight
Oh,
in
he
that
did something wrong and he
I
did something.
ain't do, but I ain't do nothing to you.
Right.
Like that's why I don't consider it a fight because I ain't do nothing to you. And even then afterwards, I didn't like bite your head off and stuff like that. I made it. The environment was still an environment where you could have came and said something for a
Oh, wow.
long time. And I was like, maybe if we had a real argument, like name calling and like I can understand why it would take so long. But for it to take this long for that, I was like, then I was talking to one of my friends about it. He was like, it was a text message. And I was like, yeah.
Would you have
And
picked up the phone?
he was like,
Would you have picked up the call?
he should pick up the phone.
Huh?
Huh?
Would you have picked up the call?
Yeah. I didn't block his number for this whole time, just in case he wanted to call.
I thought you did actually.
No, I blocked him off of social media so he couldn't watch my shit. Because I don't like that. You not talking to me, but you watching my story every day. I have issues.
You be taking that shit too personal.
No.
Yeah.
I see who watch my shit.
I don't
want to see your face every day if you're not talking to me and I'm not talking to you.
I don't think I've ever looked at.
That's not my business.
But I don't do that. That's just,
of course you don't do that. You don't even look at your damn phone. Anyways. So
somehow I'm still here, y'all.
you gotta pretend to have something to do with stocks.
But how about this? How about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I owe you an apology too for a lot of different things.
I'm listening.
All right, so I'll say this, right? The last few weeks I haven't been in my right mind at all. And I knew when I apologized to you last week that even though I was being sincere in what I said, that you kind of was like, whatever, nigga, right? Because that means I was right, y'all. That means I was 100%. So the thing is, I feel like, and you see me at some weak moments. You see me, I don't say at my lowest, but you see me down. And I think that a lot of people, even if they see me down, they think I'm okay when I say I'm okay. And oftentimes, if I don't, I have to tell you I'm not for you to believe it. And sometimes I'm like okay because I believe that I was okay, right? And if you're talking about alphas or whatever, I think it takes a strong person to be like, yo, I apologize. I didn't mean to put you out of your way. That wasn't my intention. Because my week was so, like, I had this whole entire weekend, I dealt with anxiety because of the stuff I had to go through on Monday.
Oh shit! I didn't realize what you were apologizing for.
Right.
Which is crazy. Which is crazy. But all right, okay.
So I feel like because of that, I didn't have my ducks in a row, and I think I already talked to you about how I've been feeling about like just being in public period,
Mm-hmm.
and that was because of what I was going through. I feel way better now. Like I feel like a weight is lifted off my shoulder, but still stuff is still not resolved 100%. But I'm in the process of resolving some things, and ultimately, I didn't want to be put in a predicament where it seemed like I was being negligent when I was really just out of mind. And that's hard to say for somebody who always has their shit together. But sometimes I could just be out of my mind because I got so many other things that I'm worried about. Not even like concerned or planning or working on, just legit worrisome because whatever. And again, I'm still things are still happening, but at least I know where it's going. Like, worst case scenario, I got to appeal to a court or I got to sign this other contract or whatever the case is. I kind of know what the next steps are at this point. On Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was just like, oh my God, what is about to happen? And I am kind of jammed already. And I didn't really know what I was going to do. So that's my bad for taking that L and also not gracing you with my presence because I've owed you that for a time. In addition to that, I didn't communicate as clear as I thought because when I thought of Friday was Thursday, I legit thought that. I was
I
saying to
believe
myself,
you.
I was like, yo, I'm gonna get the Scooby Doo stuffed animal today, and I said, fuck, I go get it tomorrow. And then when you texted me, I was like, oh, and that was crazy, and that was like that the entire week, and that's just because my brain being a tizzy, and that's something I got to work on. I gotta work through that shit. But anyway, I say that to say this: um, when we dealing with alpha women or alpha males or whatever, a whole person or a person who's trying to become a whole person, which I'm trying to become. I'm more of a 360-degree person than most people, but I still have a lot of way to go. I'll probably like maybe 191. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of way to go. Um, but I think the average person is like 90. Real shit. And anyway, I say that to say that there were a lot of apologies that I did after I got out of my last relationship because I realized how many people I hurt inadvertently before I was in that relationship. That all came out while I was in my relationship. And I said a lot of sorries because part of the reason was selfish. Like I just people thinking negatively about you all the time does something to your spirit, it weighs you down. The other side of it, I feel like, is I legitimately don't like I can't control how somebody feels about me, but I can control about how I make them feel, right? Like if I was nice to you and you just think I'm an asshole, that's on you. But if I was an asshole to you and you think I'm an asshole, nah, that's something I want to resolve. But that transmuted into me being way more cognizant about interactions that I had. Like whatever will you happen, you a homeboy, I wouldn't have did that. And I say that after what I did on Friday. We still spoke, but it wasn't like I see you there, and I never showed up. So like, if that happened to me, you would have thought I died. I remember one time you was like, "All right, I know he doesn't always pick up his phone, but he always calls me back." And there was one day I was doing something crazy and I didn't hit you back, and you was like, "All right, if you didn't call me back at this time, I knew something was wrong because you always keep one of your phones charged, my nigga." And I was like, "All right, you're right." So, when I've told you what I was doing, you was like, "Oh, I get it." So at the end of the day, that's rare of me to do something like that. But if I had done something like that, my apology would have been more sincere. And I'm not trying to compare myself to him, but my apology would have been more sincere more sooner. And I didn't say that right English, but I would have done that not so much to protect my feelings, but to ensure you that I care about yours. And I think that matters with people who are growing into themselves. Simultaneously with women. I've never met an a woman who was like a leader or whatnot that didn't apologize for a mistake. I
Yeah.
think when we laugh about that accountability thing with women, like, yeah, it's a funny joke, but that just goes to show how many women really aren't alphas or really aren't leaders because
Such a
even
good
e-
point.
even down to like politics. Y'all watching this video one time I picked up my kids from their grandmother, and my kid's grandmother was like, "Yo, are you watching women argue?" And that's literally what the video sounded like, but it was actually a video about this woman. She actually doing the Breakfast Club. She was hosting this thing on Revolt, and she was just battling with everybody. Battling with everybody. That same alpha masculine energy I was telling you, that toxic masculine energy that the woman was portraying. And I was just like, and there was another woman that was just saying, like, why are you arguing with, like, You brought them onto this space so they could tell their thing. You're supposed to be the host. You're not here to delegate. You may give your 2 cents, but you're not here to tell somebody that you're wrong and go back and forth and yada yada. And in any case, I've seen that as somebody who's insecure or whatever. And she had to, I'm a boss. I do this. I do that. When you start to tell your resume to people, you ain't really doing shit. And I feel like if you're wrong, all right, you might not catch it right away because you just may not be that in charge of your emotions. That's okay. Like you're human. We all allowed to have them slip ups. But once you realize you fucked up, that's the point that you're supposed to say, "Damn, I fucked up." Now to your friends, I heard somebody I don't say somebody say not devil's advocate, say to play God's advocate, which is I thought he was corny. But from another perspective, even though it may not have seemed like much, it may have been for him to move mountains to send you that text message.
You said move mountains.
For him, he might have had to move mountains to write those words and send it to you. And maybe that was something that you never had noticed in him before, but now that it's with you, you're like, oh, maybe you're just this type of person that has a hard time acknowledging. I don't want to use the word failure, but mistakes. And I think it takes a mature person and kind to realize that, hey, I got to give this person grace. I may not agree with it. I may never talk to this person again, but I want to give him the grace that the fact that he realized that there was an error and that he realized it was a mistake, and let all that energy go. Not to say that you hold on to anything, just in general. Um, but yeah, I think that's all that is a part of it.
That big ups on the like apologizing, accountability, and uh women leaders being able to do that, whether it's in their house or on the job or whatever.
Politician, but hey, I'm a fall back.
Yo, don't start your shit.
Hey.
Don't start your shit. Not today.
Bum ass Kamala and Nancy Pelosi and all
Excuse
them
me.
and all them AOC, all them joints. I don't hear them apologizing. I was wrong. I messed that up. Hillary Clinton didn't apologize. You helped lock these niggas up. I ain't hear. Yo, it was my bad, man. Like it was the times I was in this situation. This is what I thought. You know what she said? Black people
Nope.
was with it too.
Why
That's the answer.
are you focusing on the women when politicians in general don't
Oh
ever
no,
apologize
we
unless
could
they're
do it with
caught?
any
What they
politician.
said?
We could do it with any politician, but the topic is how to deal with women who are leaders. So that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Let's stay on topic. Let's stay on topic, y'all.
Anyways,
Don't be digressing. Why you bring
yeah,
the
digressing. But yeah, so I feel like if you understand the depth of the harm you've done, then you need to make amends. If you don't understand, then you need to have a conversation
Yeah.
because you need to know how to make amends.
Yeah.
Sadly for his part, having no contact for a year also showed me that I didn't need to have you around for a year. But we had some good comments. I want to double back real quick. Since Sagia said, can people be fair whether alpha, beta, stigmas, like, does it come out in certain moments?
I think so.
I think so too, because you can't be alpha in everything. I feel like you can have certain skills that translate into many different levels of your life, but you can't be skilled at everything. You can have just places, and I feel like that's highly personal because I feel like we talked about being an alpha almost being like inherent with some people, but that's how it appears to us. Because you said you could see certain skills come out as children, that still has to be nurtured. That could be snuffed out in a child. You know what I mean? So that has to be nurtured. That has to be practiced. That has, as an adult, I feel like when you wield that, it's more intentional. I feel like other people around you will let you know that you have these gifts. And And I think that's the thing with a leader. People will come to them and tell them. You know what I mean? And let you know that you should be on top of something, or you should sign up to lead, or you should, get involved with this because they already respect and value you. But that's to say, like muscles, certain stuff has to be exercised, and um you might be faced with things that you've never seen before.
Mm.
You might have the skills to go get the information you need, but it doesn't mean you come out of every round, the top of every round swinging, kind of thing.
I can't see the comments anymore. It was doing some dumb shit, and I logged out. I came
It
got
does
logged.
the same thing to me.
But
I
I
can't
went out
scroll up.
and went back in. I see no more comments. So I would say that yes, it does come in. All right. So it's a twofold answer. If you're always an alpha leader, you're always an alpha leader. It doesn't go anywhere. Do they have to project that leadership at all times? The more experienced, nuanced, um, good communicators won't.
I
Um,
agree, because I
uh,
think they know there's a time and a place for that energy to be
right.
applied.
So I was saying before, like the best leaders know what to follow because there might be somebody that's better at something than you. There might somebody have information that you don't have, and you need to say, "Help me get through this." The best CEOs not only do they delegate, but they hire people who know more about them, know more than them in certain areas, help lead the company, and they just macro manage at that point. So it all comes in different spaces, but that person never is not that person. Like they're never not a leader, even though they're following someone else's lead. And
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think our
I could even see
society,
that applied in the family.
right, right. I
Like
think
sometimes
that
you gotta let your kids fall on their face. That doesn't mean you're a bad parent, but sometimes kids need freedom to learn,
on their own.
uh,
So
repercussions.
I lost my point. I was saying something cool. I forgot what it was about.
You said they're never not, even if they're not using their alpha ability. They're never not that person.
I was saying that, but I was trying. I don't. I was going to. I don't know what the fuck I was going to say. It was a good. It was something that somebody had commented. One of the comments I remember, and I was going to say something to that effect. I don't remember what it was. But
Well,
long story short, I believe if you are that person, you're always that person. You just know how to. Just like you're always going to be black, no matter where you go. How black you are is going to depend depending on where you at.
oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. Um, since Agia said, I don't know if that's how his screen name is pronounced, but has said that hold on one second because I lost it.
I'm sorry.
What
I
is
mean,
it about this comment? Dang, what is this comment about this comment that he said? He said that he thinks an alpha is somebody who sees a problem and takes care of it without hesitation.
that's Ruben, by the way.
I know who's Ruben.
Oh, it says Sensations. You said something crazy.
Yeah, no, because I've never said this before.
Nah, it's your microphone sounds different, by the way. At least on my end. I don't know how everybody else hears it. Um, what I was going to say, yeah, I agree with that. I don't think that necessarily means that you are an alpha. I think an alpha is more can galvanize people than just see a problem and do it. You know what I mean? Like I remember when I was a manager for United, and I met other managers, and I was like, "How are you a manager and you don't have no employees? What is this?" And they were like, "Not all managers need employees. Some managers need to manage a thing. Some people can't manage people." So, I never thought about it that way. So they had some positions that you didn't have to manage other people. You had to manage this system or this practice or these practices or this resource. You didn't manage the people who delegated this. No, no. So and sometimes it'd be like managers who will work with one another, and then one manager will be like almost like the supervisor, and they would tell people what to do and how to do it. Some people ain't got that gift.
Very true.
I think alphas have that gift.
So, but again, when we talk about leadership and stuff like that, and we talk about being able to galvanize people, do you think this translates equally between men and women? I think
Say that
our
again. Say that
default
again.
is, I think our default is to go back to very masculine properties of leadership, and I feel like
What was
alpha
the question
women.
though originally? I feel like you strayed off from that.
I said, do these properties, because we're literally talking about in the business world and managing other people and da 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 da. Again, these seem like seemingly masculine roles. Do they translate equally into women?
Did you end the video on Instagram?
No. I just got
Live.
that too. It just popped up.
That's crazy.
It says some of your destinations have errors on my screen.
That could be why what's the name is messed up.
My mic.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's still not. It just froze. It froze. I don't know what we do about that. You want to come back on?
That's up to you. I feel like we kind of ended abruptly.
Yeah, I think we should come back on. So do you want to end it and then?
Well, on StreamYard.
Yeah.
Um, hold on. They just did it after an hour. Nah, we don't have to, because then we gotta invite everybody back. You think they wait for us?
It said you can remove this destination from the stream and then re-add it.
I know. I can do it. Hold on. I gotta do the stream key and all that shit over again.
Oh, do we?
Mm-hmm.
Gross.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's cool.
IG don't want nobody to be great. I don't care what nobody says.
Man, listen. All I know is them guys who sold it to Facebook, rich as hell. That and Tom from MySpace. All right, I added it.
All right, I guess I have to.
Yep. I put the stream key in and all that. You just gotta go back and go live.
You mean just go? Don't I have to send you a stream key too?
If it sends me another one, yeah.
You said send you another one, right?
If it sends me another one, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like a different one.
Yeah, it has to be a new one.
Okay. God damn. I had this conversation. I know there's still some people watching, but I had this conversation a while ago, over the weekend rather, about like women who are strong
Mm-hmm.
and like how like a little bit subconsciously I want women who are not as strong as me.
Jesus Christ, yeah. At least you're honest.
Yeah, but I never realized that was like a thing, and I had to break down like why that might be a thing. And I feel like some of it was like I didn't really care. Some of it was like
I sent it.
another stream key.
Yeah.
Let me suck my teeth.
Yeah.
All right, so I gotta remove it again. I gotta do this again. Technology, technology. Did you send it in the same thread? Nope.
No, no. Mm-mm-mm.
I sent it. Yeah, I sent it. Just waiting on you.
Oh, I think we're back.
And now
Uh,
for these messages.
without even clicking. Yeah, we're back without even clicking the link you sent. Okay.
And you sound better too.
Oh, so it must have been IG.
Yeah, I could have been.
We're back, guys. Sorry. Let's wait until some more people come back. Oh, I guess we could resend it out too, if it allows me. I don't think it'd be allowing me though. As soon as I hit that button, it starts flipping out. All right, Tony's back. Hey, Tony. IG kicked us off. Didn't want us to be great.
So your hour's up.
Mm-mm-mm. Come on now. Where y'all at?
I don't see it live on there. I see it now.
You said you just now seeing it?
Hmm. I don't know who was watching. I know Ruben was watching. I sent it back. Wah, 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 wah. I know I'll be
Oh,
passing.
you know what? Oh, Devon's World's here.
Now,
Gang, gang.
gang, gang.
Gang, gang.
Somebody said your whole government on
You said what?
somebody said your whole government on Facebook. Dwayne
Oh,
said Davinia Fonseca. Smiley face, smiley face.
smiley face. Okay, let's see. But I guess to get back on topic,
Back on topic.
I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted that we're still talking about what's considered or usually considered inherently male traits associated with leadership.
I don't think I said anything like that, but I want you to explain.
So, I have a strong belief that feminine powers is more like in the what I call the intangibles. We deal with the intangibles.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thing is this. Are we still making this about alpha men when we're talking about alpha women? Or are we talking about like inherently feminine traits?
Well, I think some of the examples that I used may not have been inherent feminine traits, but were inherent human traits in terms of like leadership, galvanizing, things like that. I don't think that's gender specific. When I think of alphas, I think of your grandma, the old school grandma, the house dress grandma, the 8 kids, 21 grandkids grandma. That you go to her house for Thanksgiving and Christmas, that grandma. That's what I think. When I think of like innate feminine trait. Still able to discipline, still able to um, reprimand when necessary, delegate when necessary, but also you go to her for healing. You go to her for um, guidance, wisdom. Um, you go to her for her innate ability to know what's wrong with you without saying anything is wrong with you. I had that conversation over the weekend actually. It's actually a scene in my book where I was like, I was, leaving the house and my grandmother was like, yo, I don't know what's wrong with you, but I know something's wrong. And I'm sorry you're going, whatever you're going through, just know it's going to be all right. I didn't tell her a damn thing. I mean, she's seen some shit probably, but I didn't tell her nothing, but she knew something was up with me. And sure enough, her saying that to me changed me a little bit. Like it made me feel a little bit better about the predicament that I was in at the moment. But the point is, I don't, a lot of what I said, I think outside of when I talked about the mimicking of toxic masculinity, I didn't really say anything too much that was gender specific. I mean, we did go over it a couple of times, but you know, I don't. I think that galvanizing and leading and being able to stand back and let somebody else take the lead, like you know what I mean. Like my grandmother, if I had a recipe or something, you make it. Show me how to do it. When she wanted her red rice better, she got my pop's girlfriend at the time. You showed me how to make this work. I'm not doing it the same way you're doing it. I need to know something different. You know what I mean? Like that's when people, she led her whole family for years.
Mm-hmm.
There were times where, as she got older, that she would tell me like I'm losing my faculties, and it makes me less of who I am because of it. And that's because she could no longer do for people the way she had done. That matters. So I feel like when I think of an alpha woman, I think of like that old school grandma, the old school nana, that old school mima, whatever you want to call her, that old school one, because that's the one that always galvanized the family. And that may not have always been inherent with her, because I've seen it. My grandmother had one brother and 6 sisters, and they all had their individual tribes, but then they all went back to her. You talking about Christmas in '93? All her sisters and her kids and her sisters' grandkids, all at my crib, wilding. We all wilding because they galvanized to her. They needed advice, they went to her. They needed help with this, they went to her. They needed to do some stuff with the church, they went to her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like you were saying earlier, how a lot of women, a lot of people for that matter, they don't ever probably recognize their leadership, their alpha status. Other people do. That sometimes, like you said, eyes can see everything but itself, but sometimes it's not in the words that they say, it's how they treat you. And I've been told that by people looking on the outside with me and certain parts of my family. Like Devon, they look to you for these things. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. They don't. They, and I'm not saying that like a negative thing. I don't want to do
Mhm.
it because of how they treat me. They don't treat me. They don't treat me with the reverence of somebody who they look up to like that. Don't look up to me like that and ask me to do these things and then say you ain't shit all in the same breath. That's crazy to me. That's wild, insane to me. So I'd rather stay away from that. I'm good. I pass. I'll pass.
So I love that you use the example as like the grandma, because I remember somebody saying something about women and was revering a similar situation, like a older woman or whatever, and said she's never made $1 a day in her life.
Mm. And still was holding everything down.
Yes, yes. I love that you spoke about the being able to read you. I don't know what's wrong with you,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm here to help. You got this. Come eat some of this food.
Mm-hmm.
you, you know, come get a
Go
hug.
get cleaned up so you can eat. Go wash your face and hands so you can eat.
Exactly. So, um, that's why I was like, I want to be careful about how we talk about it, because it's so easy to, when you're looking for leadership, to relegate it to these like male dominated spaces, when women have their own spaces. I'm not saying they can't have it at work, but it might be harder to measure what an alpha female looks like. It's almost easier. It's almost like it's so much easier to spot what she doesn't do. Then sometimes there's to spot what she does do.
I think that's something that's worthy of like maybe its own topic, because, and I'm gonna break this down a little bit. I'm gonna break this down a little bit. I feel like um, when you think about it, right? A lot of how we measure things in this society, a lot of how we believe things is what we can measure, what's tangible, right?
Yeah.
Spirituality only exists when we see the brain react a certain way. Why do we need this for that? I feel like, and nobody killed me for saying this, but I feel like women inherently are more connected to God and spirit, so it is harder to quantify those leadership abilities in a woman because they're not measurable. It's
Can
a non-measurable trait.
and can we talk about how
Well, hold on, let me say one more thing. You can almost only measure it by how people respond to it. Almost like an energy, almost like a radio wave. You
Mhm.
don't see it emanating, but when you see how the things react around it, then you know what it is.
And it could be good responses and bad responses, let me say that,
Facts.
because you might trigger somebody else's demons
That part too.
or their insecurities
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it is, just being in their presence.
Mm-hmm.
um but can we also talk about how women were traditionally the spiritual leaders,
And most,
and they were banned or ostracized or labeled witches?
yes, Western stuff. So, what did I say? In this society, that's how we measure things. The more tangible it has to be, the less spiritual it can be, because then they start to, what's the word I'm looking for? They start to ostracize what you can't see and make it myth and not real and fantasy for only the things that you can see. And even in the spiritual practices that I'm in, women may not always have leadership roles, and one of them, women don't have any leadership role. But women don't always have like a leadership role, but you can't do anything without a woman. There's no ceremony, there's no path, there's nothing that you can do to move to a deeper level of consciousness without a woman present. If you don't have a woman present, you can't get it done. So there's some I don't, that you don't need a man there. unless the man is the priest, unless the man is the one that's dictating the terms or guiding the ceremony itself. Outside of that, you don't need another god in. You got him. That's what you need. Go ahead, do it. As long as you got a woman there, you're fine. But without a woman, without a feminine energy, can't happen. And I've had was supposed to have ceremonies a few times. I couldn't get it done. Wow, we can't get a woman. What do you need a woman for? I'm just me. Nah, can't do it if a woman's not there. So I understand that, and I understand why would you want to take the woman out of it? You want to take the woman out of it because then you take the spirit out of it. The man is the understanding, the woman is the conductor. That's how I see it in spirituality. The woman is going to work that spirit. The spirit is going to work through her. And oftentimes the man is the one, because again, we could separate, we could compartmentalize better. Compartmentalize, I'm thirsty. What happens then is we can interpret better, but we can't get it. It doesn't come through us in the same way that it would a woman. That's my understanding of it.
So,
but there's no accident to that.
There's what?
There's no accident to that.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there's an accident to that. Not whatsoever.
So I love the way you say that, like an alpha woman would just emanate. Because we say a woman will light up a room. You know what I mean? Or you can feel her, or how she makes you feel. You know what I mean? Or
how does she make her grandkids feel? How do puppies act around her? Stuff like that matters. I pay attention to stuff like that. Every time I see a dog next to you and dogs like, I notice that. When
animals and babies don't like you, I'm instantly suspicious. I always say that.
It's a flag. I can't tell you what color it is, but it's a flag. It ain't green.
It's not green.
It's not a green flag. I don't know if it's orange or yellow. I don't know if it's red. It's a flag. I pay attention to that. Oh, babies and animals don't like you? Nah, nigga, something wrong with your spirit.
And the baby be like, you don't see that one, right there.
Dog be telling you, you better get out of there, son, like that. She ain't it. That is not it.
That's not it.
I believe it that wholeheartedly, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like a woman's traits is not to be seen, is to be felt. I don't believe that a woman's trait is something that's ultimately calculable by any earthly standard of measure. You can see her nurturing, how she cares for things, whether it be plants, whether it be animals, whether it be her children. Like, I know if my baby mama cook for me, I know she fucking with me when her food is bomb. Oh, you like me this week.
Stop.
If she make me some bullshit, I'm like, nah, you can go back home with that, nigga. I cook. You want some of this? Nah, you ain't put no love into this food. I don't want that food you made your brother because you was mad.
I can't.
I don't want that. Man, that's the truth. When the girl really like you, her food always tastes extra good because she's like, oh, let me just make sure I do this shit perfect for this nigga. When she just she make sure you get sustenance, my nigga. It's a different type of meal. She throw your plate on the table. Here, nigga. You like, oh, what the fuck is this? What did I do to deserve this?
Here's your nutrition.
Right. That's it. Make sure you get your calories in, my nigga. You got shit to do today.
Don't die.
That's it. That's it.
Don't die.
Don't die today.
Not don't die, yo.
I know, don't die.
That's crazy.
What you gave me this for?
Somebody give you a plate like that from me. I'll be like, what you did? What did you do?
What did you do to this person?
What did you do though?
Oh man, I don't know what I did. But yeah, man. I think that's a thing. I think that's a thing.
All right.
Listen, I love women, as you know. But I really love, and I don't just love women because of any tangible thing. Like I love my male friends. I don't know a male friend that can heal me the same way a woman. Don't get me wrong. I got some male friends who can speak life into me. Like that's the thing. Like I can go like there's a couple of friends now. I'm like I've been kind of because I've been going through what I've been going through, trying to get some shit together. I haven't really had the conversation I needed to have with them, but they're definitely two of my guy friends I need to talk to. Like nigga, you got it. I'm in a conundrum right now, bro. Like I need to hear it. You know what I mean? Um, I also feel like when I'm at my worst, even though I don't mind being around my male friends, I know that my female friends will make I don't know they help me release like serotonin and dopamine simultaneously, and the next thing you know, I feel better about life. Like you know, I can hear this back. I can hear what I did wrong now. Sometimes you just need that hug. Sometimes you just need that know somebody care. Like it's just different. I'm assuming that sometimes women feel the same about men. Um, and because there's a very healthy way to be masculine, and I feel like some of that healing that like I know healing is possible, man and woman to man. I mean man and woman and man and woman, man and woman and man and man. I know that healing is possible. Simultaneously, I feel like
What we
simul-
do for each other is different.
right how it perceives. I don't need to feel protected by my woman. I don't need to feel safe, and in a certain degree, I need to feel comfort, which in turn is a form of safety, and I need to feel unbothered. Like there's nothing that comes with her talking to me this way. There's nothing that comes from her touching me this way. Like there is no transaction. It's being done because of love, and that's it. I think that's a big deal for me. That's a big deal. Know what I mean, son?
Yeah.
Your coughing attack is over?
Yes. I think maybe. Maybe.
Maybe. Possibly.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Is it?
Yeah. That's what I got for the night, man. My back's on to hurt.
What?
Yeah, niggas old, son.
Okay.
So real random. So the last few days I was supposed to go out and work, right? Yesterday not included so much because I already made my mind up everything I had to do around the house I was gonna do. Work from home yesterday. But today I was like, no, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna work, make some money. And then sure enough, this morning I was fucked up. I had some ice cream last night like a fat ass nigga. And I paid for it this morning. Boy, that lactose intolerant shit is real. I was like, oh, what's going on here? Stomach fucked up. So I was like, I'm not gonna work. I'm gonna do some other work I was supposed to do yesterday. I didn't get a chance to finish. Because my goal was to try to finish up everything through Thursday. Today, right? I was like, you know, no, I said if I stay home, if I don't work, I'll finish up everything through Thursday. Anyway, so down when I applied for a couple of jobs or whatever, good jobs too. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. This is exactly what I was looking for. And guess what happened? Didn't get them. So I'm like, early in the day, my stomach was killing me, and then now I can't even get a job that I normally would get. Stay home. And I feel like since last week, I've been getting this message, and every time I like try to go outside, it's like it don't work. Stay home. It's like stay home. Just stay home. And guess what the hell I'm gonna do? Stay my ass home.
Listen.
You gotta listen.
Listen.
That's what Callie used to say back in the day, right? Listen. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna shut my ass up and I'm gonna listen. That's it. I'll be messing up, apparently.
What?
It'd be crazy. I always be saying like, oh, I listen to this and I do this and I do that. Somehow I always do opposite of what I'm told. And I'm like, man, how do I know better than God? Like, help me figure that part out. Don't understand it, dog. I'll be wilding.
So That being said, we are done. We're finished. We're not.
I'm good.
Oh, your
Gucci.
back said no.
Yeah, yeah. Back like, bro, you wilding. What are you doing, fam?
You know that's why you were hopping all over the place.
Probably.
You need to stretch.
That's a fact. I do need to stretch.
You should stretch.
I should stretch. I will
Get
stretch.
some figure fours in your life.
Oh man, you ain't never. All right, this is a good video.
I agree. It was
Now,
a good conversation, even though I came into it a little confused. But yeah, yes.
yeah, clearly I didn't write the right thing. I'm like, what do you mean? You was like, but you didn't. I'm like, yes, I did. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't do it. Didn't happen that way. My bad. You see what I wrote on my phone? I was like, I definitely wrote dating. He was like, no, you didn't. I'm like, well, I wrote it here. If that counts for anything.
It does.
Hey man, look at
All
that.
right, guys.
It's been real, y'all.
Has and we're gonna do it again next week
And the week after that.
on Wednesday.
Yep. We'll be back.
I think you're done. Oh my goodness. Bye, guys.
Yeah.